Okay, so chapter 13 really focused on the case of ethics in immersion for journalism and how it applied to one blogger, Cassie Rodenberg, and how she chose to use her chance to explain science through writing articles that were focused on people. So she began a blog titled The White Noise, which fixated on her view of addiction and mental illness and the effects that it has on many lives. So this blog basically went on for about 4 years and presented 4 articles per month. So at first, readers were really skeptical about her approach, but it eventually came to grow into a very large and appreciative audience. So while establishing relationships with her sources, which is totally against the typical ethical conduct of a journalist, Cassie kept her sources very vague and used their street names in order to protect them. But before covering their life stories, she would always share background on what she was doing, what her purpose was, and she would show them some examples of her drafts and her previous blogs that she had done on people they might potentially know, and to ask permission to quote the source prior to publishing it, which made these people so much more comfortable about what they were telling her and the relationship that they were building her. So this is pretty out of sorts for typical journalism, but Rodenberg really felt like it was her place to do so in these situations, and she just really wanted to give justice for her sources. But all the while, she really faced a lot of predicaments concerning illegal activities that the sources were involved in, and she revealed that she never went to the police for a lot of reasons, being that number one, the police already knew about the situations that were going on, and it's not like they were going to act on it immediately. They already knew, they were already aware about it, so what would telling them one more time really do? And she also didn't want to lose trust in those that she interviewed or give them any sense of betrayal, especially because she built such important relationships with these sources, and even invited them into her home and stuff like that. But this was all super against any journalism code of conduct that may exist out there. So some of the things that Cassie said in this chapter really stuck out to me. And one of them was being that she encourages her students to just talk to people and to be honest about your intentions and always stay genuine when you're talking to others and asking them about personal things. And I think that's really big on her part, and that is how blogging on The White Noise for 4 years completely changed her perspective on journalism and humanity and science. And another thing that she said that stood out was the very last sentence in the chapter, and that was that it is important to remember that ethical lines sometimes have to be reconsidered in the interest of covering something bigger, because that not only says something about establishing relationships with your sources, which sometimes you have to do in order to get the best story, but it also says a lot about going against the normatives and standing out and being different, featuring my dog's nose. And it really shed a light to her on humanity and science and how they are completely different, but also the same.